Kirsten from Kitsap Regional Library, and we're here today for Messy Monday to talk about cardboard creations. Now, there's lots of cardboard around, and usually when I see the outside of a cardboard box, I just want to go ahead and tear it apart and use the nice looking inside for my creations. So, well, there are lots of different types of cardboard. We have toilet paper tubes, paper towel tubes, wrapping paper tubes. You can use all of those for making things. They're cardboard too. There is wonderful corrugated but very flexible cardboard that you can make into circle shapes. And there is very stiff cardboard. I don't know if you can see that there are actually 2 layers of corrugation on there, which makes this extra strong cardboard. And my favorite, I think, are the types of thin cardboard that you get from Cheez-It boxes, cracker boxes, cereal boxes, all kinds of boxes. So keep your eye out for some fun things like this because this is fairly easy to cut with scissors. Now, I prefer cutting with scissors just because it's safer and because I can cut more varied and different shapes. However, if it is okay with the adults in your life for you to use an X-Acto knife or a box cutter or a utility knife, make sure that that adult is with you when you are cutting to make sure that you are safe. It might be best if you draw the lines that you want to have cut and have your adult do them instead. However, this would be the safe way to cut. Pull your blade out. Notice that my blade was in until just now when I was ready to cut. I have my knife here. I'm not going to cut at my body. You never cut at your body. That's very dangerous. And I have a nice stable table. Look, it's not moving anywhere. And I have lots of layers of cardboard underneath the cardboard that I'm cutting. And look how far away my fingers are from my blade. And I'm going to look down when I'm cutting because you never want to look away from what you are cutting. Now I'm finished. Oh, I didn't do a very good job. I still need, oh, there we go. I'm going to pull the blade in. I'm going to retract it till there is nothing sharp sticking out. And I'll put it in the safe place, which is right there. And I'm done. So whenever you use a blade, if you're allowed to, be very careful. There's my little piece of cardboard that I cut. Now, I was thinking, even though I love duct tape and masking tape and glue, I was hoping to find different ways of putting cardboard together. So I found one. Notice how I have interlocking pieces of cardboard, interlocking tabs. It was very easy to make, but I needed to make sure that I measured correctly because all of my lines, all of my cuts need to line up so that they can be woven together. But I couldn't find my ruler, so how was I going to measure anything? Well, I have a thumb. You can find lots of things around the house to use for measuring. I decided to use my thumb. So what I did was I took my marker and I measured from the tip of my thumbnail to the very first knuckle on my thumb. And each of these little spaces on the card equals 1 of those thumbnail to first knuckle measurements. So it is a consistent measure. And I want to use a consistent measure. That means it's going to be the same length every single time. And I'm going to use this ruler for everything I make today to make sure they're all the same. Now, when I finally find my ruler, I'm going to see just how long my thumb is at that point. I wonder if it's an inch. Maybe, maybe not. I took part of the Cheez-It box and I used my measure to draw lines that I would later cut. I did the same on this piece as well. But before I cut anything, I knew that I wanted all of the cuts I made in my cardboard to be the same length. So I turned over the cardboard. I took, since I couldn't find my ruler, I'm using the top of the Cheez-It box as a straight edge. And I took my marker, oops, and drew a line against that straight edge down the side of the box, and I cut with my scissors. I cut up to that line. So all of these are the same length or even depth if we're talking about going in. So since they're the same, it's going to take a little bit of doing, but let's see, they should fit together just fine. Oops. Because I use that consistent measure, consistent unit of measure. Oops, there we go. Now, sometimes it will be difficult to weave together the tabs that you've cut, because I guess these could be considered tabs. Sometimes it will be difficult to weave them together, especially if your measure's off a little bit, which I'll show you later happened to me. But look, it's a little bit more sturdy than your regular cracker box side would be. I might use this for a building or for a roof, or I'm not sure yet. I'll leave it over there for now though. I thought that went pretty well with the thin cardboard. What will happen with that thick cardboard? Well, we're about to find out. I did the same thing with this. I took my unit, I took my measuring board, measured up against there, used my straight edge for the line that I cut to, but I realized that I might have difficulty with this because it's so thick. You might have noticed I had a little bit of trouble getting my thin tabs interwoven. So what I did was I didn't do a great job of cutting these, but you'll notice that there are little bits and pieces cut out from between these, and those are going to give me a little bit more room to do my weaving in and out of my tabs, because I wanted to make sure I was able to get all my tabs woven in and out. Now, the first time you weave your tabs in and out, it may be very difficult because everything will be very stiff, but look at that. And once again, ooh, that's a bit sturdier than it would be if I hadn't woven them together. So there we have that. Looks like that on that side. So those are two ways, well, that's actually one way with two different types of cardboard of putting your cardboard together without needing tape or glue. And I thought, well, what are some other ways? Well, we could call those tabs. Well, what about these? We could call these tabs as well. So what I did was I wanted to see how I could put these together. So I drew a dot of the height of this piece, and I drew this much because I knew that that was how far down I was going to make my, or how far up actually I was going to make my tab for this one, or my cut for this one. So when I put these two together, there we go. I have an interesting configuration. I haven't quite decided yet what I want to do with this piece or these tabs, but you can actually use this method of putting things together to put together all sorts of things. It's up to you. Now, I'll show you why I love cardboard. Even though this looks like an okay square, I kind of messed this one up. You'll notice I didn't do a very good job of measuring this, but it worked out all right in the end because it made a pretty good triangle. So what I did was I cut up here and I cut down this one. because you want to make sure that your pieces will match. But I thought, wait a minute, I want to have all those icky looking ends inside. So, oops, let's see if I can do it. So I took, there we go. I was experimenting some more. I took these inside and put them like that. Someday I'll make a nicer looking triangle that I've measured better. But for now, that's a pretty good triangle. But that was a mistake, and you learn from your mistakes. And that's another fun thing about cardboard, is that you can learn a lot of different stuff. I wanted to see what else I could do with cardboard. So I took a kitchen knife and I pressed down on, you know how with corrugation, you have those little lines that go this way? Well, if you press down, and I'm not going to press against myself because you never want to do that either. You always want to make sure you're pressing down on a table or something solid. Well, I thought, what would happen if I pressed down and kind of smushed? I kind of smushed, and if you have a ruler, you can use the edge of a ruler to do this too. What if I smushed down all those undulating S shapes underneath or between the two pieces of paper? Well, I found that I could smush them enough that I could roll it up. So I rolled it up, put some duct tape on it, and use this for decoration. I used food coloring because I don't have any paint in my house. And here is my cardboard creation. It might be a tree house. I'm not really sure yet. I'm still working on this. But I used my rolled up cardboard to make decorations on here. And also Q-tips work really well as well. Well, thank you for joining me today, and have fun with cardboard creations. Bye-bye.